that's bad. Smell that. Look at that. That's what you need to talk about.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that iced coffee.
Horrible. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us on episode 8 of The Enthusiast. I am one of your hosts, Will Zabo, alongside with me, the pride of New Jersey, Jesse Nazario.
Well, now everybody knows where we're from. That's nice. That's good.
They probably knew from how our 5 views.
Oh, yeah, no, it's good, yeah. Besides that, though, that wasn't a skit in the beginning. No, I really just laid a nasty one in this tiny little room down here. I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay.
But we did just have donuts in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, we're going to feel pretty sluggish after that.
Yeah, it was a really bad idea.
Probably, but it's okay. Could always be worse.
I'm super tired, but I'm dedicated to this podcast, so we made a Dunkin' Donuts run. In the middle of it, I decided, you know what, I'm getting 12 donuts. Why not? And we went down. We ate a lot of donuts.
We did.
Yeah, you ate more though.
Yeah, I had 4.
You had 4. You're real fat.
Thanks.
Real gross. Because I didn't even see you do the debate like most people do. Like, should I eat this one? You saw the last one. You were like, well, this is it. So you actually looked disappointed when it was done that you didn't go with 5 donuts. That's all right. All right.
So how's your week going?
It's going well, man. I had a good beginning of the week. Not because anything really special happened, just because 2 trailers dropped. Was it Tuesday or was it Monday they dropped?
I think it was Monday.
Might have been Monday. Either way, 2 trailers dropped. And of course, I seen them at work. And no matter what was going on, I had to watch them at work. No, it had to have been Tuesday they dropped. Because Monday was Martin Luther King.
You're right. It was Tuesday.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. But anyway.
No one would drop a trailer on Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, that's right. That's his day.
Except maybe Selma.
Yeah, but yeah, I watched the trailer for Power Rangers at first, and I was like, wow, that looks really good. And then the new Logan trailer came out, which I thought I was hyped with the first one, but this one took me to really happy town.
Let's start with the Power Rangers. I wasn't as hype on that one.
Yeah, no. I still understand why you're not hyped. All right, let me just ask. I'm going to point out things I love from the trailer. You tell me how you felt about them.
Okay.
Zordon.
I thought Zordon looked how I expected him to look. I'm okay with that, actually.
So you were not expecting a tube head?
No, I felt the tube head was a little too 90s. So what they did made sense to me, and I like the route they went with that.
I thought originally they were going to do more of a flat screen, like a huge screen wall, and it was kind of like him phasing in and out. You could see parts of his face when he was talking. So they kind of actually almost did what I thought,
yes,
but with more of a 3D look, which actually, right. And it does look like Bryan Cranston. You can tell it's Bryan Cranston.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So, also, the look of Alpha 5 didn't piss me off as much as I thought it would.
See, I did not like Alpha 5.
Well, I seen the still shot, and I was like, ooh, hate that. Okay. In motion, it looks a little better. Don't like how small he is.
But I don't like that he has like those headlights for eyes type of thing. That bothered me, but maybe in the movie he'll grow on me.
Yeah. Bill Hader's played him, so.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Which is weird because his career has kind of been on the up and up for him to take such a small role like that.
Must be a big Power Ranger fan.
Yeah, or Alpha 5's got a big part in this movie. Who knows? I do enjoy the fact that Alpha 5 looks more alien because at the end of the day, this all is based off of alien technology. So
I can agree with that.
Why would Alpha 5 be humanoid?
My biggest complaint with Alpha 5 personally was just the headlights. Really, I thought they just kind of looked dumb. The rest of him I thought looked okay. But like I said, maybe he'll grow on me, and maybe the headlight eyes are so that he can have expressions. Ooh, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Turn this off before I get a text message and get yelled at. It'd be awkward.
Well, it's every show.
That's kind of our tradition now, isn't it?
At that point, it's pretty much a running joke.
But really impressed with Rita. Elizabeth Banks, I think, is playing her, and I like the style she went with. The kind of she looks sorceress, which I like, because at the end of the day, Rita was a sorceress. There's 2 parts in the trailer, and this is potential spoilers, I guess. But I don't know if I was one of the only people that picked up on it because I watched a couple of trailer breakdowns and nobody else seemed to pick up on it. The part in the trailer where Trini says, somebody says, "Where were you?" And Trini explains that, they found a spaceship and she thinks she's a superhero, and then somebody says, "Pee in this cup," and they drop it. It sounds just like Elizabeth Banks. Like, as if, she plays Trini's mother or stepmother or foster mother or something.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if maybe it's not Rita herself that gets released, but her essence, her spirit or something, and it kind of possesses Trini's mom.
Huh.
Because it definitely sounded just like in the trailer. I watched it multiple times because I watched the trailer a lot. I was really
Interesting.
excited.
That's actually an interesting theory.
That's a potential spoiler, though.
I actually, I agree with the Rita. I actually like how Rita's looking, and I think she looks pretty cool. I'm more excited about the way that they're doing Rita if they're going to tease Tommy at the end of this for the Green Ranger.
Because she's got the green power coin.
Yeah. Because she's clearly the remnants of the Green Ranger. She has
Well, yeah, they said the synopsis, she's a former Green Ranger.
Yeah.
And that's why in her staff you see the green power.
I'm curious if she's going to lose and choose to pass it on to Tommy so that he can now be her Green Ranger for the second movie, which I think would be pretty cool to have that fight and then they team up towards the end of the movie. But either way, I'm excited for that. I like the look of Rita. I agree with the sorcerer part. That's what she was. So I actually agree with that.
There's also another part in the trailer. Most of the trailer you see her, she's got that green armor on. There's one part in the trailer where she's in like these black rag looking things. So I'm wondering if she is technically the Green Ranger and that she still has the ability to morph somewhat, and that's where the green armor is. Because it looks like the armor's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Biological. So it kind of morphs over to your body. So
Okay.
But what do you think of the cast? Their chemistry, at least in the trailer.
Some of them I like, some of them I do not.
All right.
I like Billy,
Okay.
the Blue Ranger. I think he's actually he's pretty funny. I see him as being an updated version of the Billy we knew from the 90s because he's still nerdy and stuff like that, but I think he has that silliness and wit to him that really makes me enjoy him.
You're going to address the elephant in the room?
That he's black.
There it is, man. Just say it. You were tiptoeing around it.
I don't mind that he's black. I didn't like the part where I don't know his name. The guy who's going to be the new Black Ranger. Is he Zach?
He's Zach. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if they were still calling him Zach.
Zach is not an exclusive black name. What's wrong?
Well, no, because I didn't know if they were going to go with him or the second Black Ranger.
That would have been Adam.
Who he was. I believe he was Asian actually.
I don't know what that actor was actually.
But I just wasn't sure if what they were doing exactly. And yeah, I know Zach's not an exclusively black name. But
I'm
still.
just making sure.
But I when he was saying he was a Black Ranger and Billy was like, "No, you're not," and I was kind of like, "Oh."
See, I kind of actually like that because it was a throwback to the '90s show. I thought it was pretty funny. He's like, "I'm black." He's like, "No, you're not."
Don't know how I feel about Jason.
Okay.
I haven't really seen him talk. The only thing I saw in the scenes that I was kind of like, okay, was when he like smashes the sink. I was like, all right, you breaking the sink. Good luck brushing your teeth later.
Yeah. When I first saw the casting, I thought it was really, really odd because the original actor that played, what was it? Can't remember the original actor that played Jason. I always know his name too. Austin St. Frank. Thank you. Or something like that. Austin St. something. He was a big dude.
Yeah.
And he had that square head, and even back in the day, he had that real rough voice, and he was a big kid, you know what I mean? And this actor that was playing him kind of didn't bring that presence off, but watching him trailer didn't piss me off. And I like the kind of idea of if he is their leader in this, it looks like he's got to step up into this, you know what I mean? He's not born a leader already.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I liked it. One complaint I had to the trailer was Godar at the end of it being actual gold and looking like he's morphing together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's my only big complaint.
I didn't like the suits.
Suits I enjoyed. But.
You like the suits a lot. I don't really like them. I don't like them because when I look at the helmets, it's not clear to me what animal it is, but I know what it is because I'm a fan of the old series. And I also don't like their Megazords.
All right, see, that's where I disagree. I like the way the Megazords looked, and I didn't hate them at all.
Yeah.
Be honest, I was afraid that they were going to go too too robotic or too dinosaur. And I feel like they real nice in the middle. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big
Mastodon
fan.
looks a little weird.
I also don't like how it looks when it all comes together at the end of the trailer.
saw-
You see that quick glance.
Yeah, just a glance.
It's really quick. But from what I saw, and don't get me wrong, maybe I didn't process it well enough off of that really quick glance, but I did not like what it looked like. And obviously this could be something that grows on me. I'm going in right now with lower expectations, and I'm actually a little okay with that because I'd rather go with low expectations and be surprised than go in with really high expectations and be disappointed.
But the whole Zord, as long as it's got the samurai head, I'm okay with it. That's what I
all that
liked as
matters.
a kid.
Okay.
But I understand. I went in real high expectations with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows because I didn't hate the first one. And because I went in so ready for this movie, I was really disappointed with it.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I didn't see the second one, but when I heard that they were bringing Krang into it, I was really excited, and I just heard it was not good.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, but like I said, that's the only issue I had with the trailer was Goldar, and I don't know. Like I don't think he's the big baddie of the movie. I don't feel like they would have gave that away in the trailer.
I do think Rita is obviously still the big bad, and I really think they're gonna tease the Dragon Zord before she passes it on to Tommy. That's my theory. Not too sure about that, but we'll see.
Even if it is not in the movie, like just at the end, you see her like, I have one more weapon and the eyes glow underwater. Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be really cool. I wonder how they're gonna make that look.
Yeah.
Because the fact that he can morph with the other Megazord.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're gonna make him still seem sleek like they did the new stuff, but not still have the staff and all that makes sense when he comes apart.
Yeah.
To combined.
I don't know. I used to love the original jacket, the little tiny, arms.
The missile arms.
The missile arms and the cool tail, and I used to love the fact that no matter every episode was the same. All the Rangers were together. They were getting beat up. Tommy was out working out, so he had his morpher in his locker. And then he'd come late. He'd be like, "Oh, I'll be right there." And then he took care of business in 2 seconds when he showed up.
Yeah.
I think Tommy was everybody's favorite. He was awesome.
Yeah, I did like the Green Ranger a lot.
Yeah. It was like the Wolverine of Power Rangers. Like, he was everyone's favorite. Like,
I can agree with that.
So,
Speaking of Wolverine, Logan dropped.
I know.
What'd you think?
I think I was excited with the first trailer, like I said, and first one gave me the feels. This one gave me the choking up. That's what it like. This trailer looks really good. It's got me really involved in the story. And maybe I'm crazy for saying this does not feel like an X-Men movie or a comic movie. This feels like a dramatic movie.
Yeah, I agree. It's so funny because I actually, even watching that trailer, forgot that it was Wolverine and X-23. I was like, wait, why'd these claws come out? Oh, right. I almost felt like it was going to be like a Last of Us type thing for a little while. They really made me excited about X-23.
Yeah.
She looks like a badass.
She does. And that actress, I don't know how well she's going to do for long periods of the movie, but just the trailer, she looks like a pretty little good actress. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm curious if they're going to do more with her. I can't say her because obviously I think they're not going to wait for her to grow up into the role.
Well, I went and trying to understand why they decided to set this movie when they did, and apparently the director wanted to set it so far in the future so it doesn't have to be attached to any of the X-Men movies. So I feel like this is probably going to be her only story of this character, you know what I mean?
But you could bring her into like a future Deadpool movie.
Perhaps.
Because don't forget, we haven't seen any of the X-Men that were in Deadpool besides Colossus. So I mean, you could probably do a futuristic thing with Deadpool and have her grown up in it.
With Cable.
Ooh, well, that's next. But I actually really enjoyed the trailer. I really liked the hints of what you want. You really want to know what Logan did.
Yeah.
Because every trailer, Xavier's like, when you talk about it, Logan just doesn't want to hear it. Now, I'm curious, do you think they're going to go the comic route?
If it's anything like Old Man Logan, perhaps.
Because they do have the rights to all that.
To what?
To that scene. Every character that's basically in that scene besides Mysterio.
Yeah.
They can do it.
I don't know. They could go any direction. You know what I mean? I'm confused. I did like the part in the trailer. I really got excited for some reason, where he's holding the X-Men comic.
Yeah.
And he's
That was kinda funny.
maybe a quarter of this happened, most of it didn't. He's like, but in real life, people die. So it's like, did he kill them, or did
Some big bad come
did
along.
Big Bad come and finish him off, and he was the sole survivor? Because that's what Logan is. He always seems to be the sole survivor.
But what big bad can you obviously do for that? Magneto? He's really the only one
Yeah.
that could take on all the X-Men.
Funny enough, though, I found out.
You can't do Apocalypse.
No, they already did Apocalypse.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Funny enough, I found out that comic he holds in the trailer is not any X-Men comic. And come to find out, it's because Marvel still owns the rights to all the X-Men comics. So they had to make up their own comic for the movie.
That's funny.
They couldn't even get one of their own issues. I thought that was ridiculous.
That's pretty funny, actually.
It is. So they ended up getting some original comic artists to come in and do old school looking style.
It's pretty sweet.
It is, but yeah, the trailer looks great. So they said no Mr. Sinister in this. I don't know if I believe that. I see what the director's saying. He says he doesn't want it to be big blockbuster.
Okay. But I don't know who else. What do you make this then?
I don't know. But apparently the budget for this one was nowhere near anywhere near like the X-Men movies, to the point where Hugh Jackman took a pay cut on this.
Really?
Yeah, to get it rated R, like the way they wanted it, and tell the story they want. They took a big budget cut for this. I guess it's Fox Studios' way of making sure that, if they didn't spend a lot of money on this film, it should make its money back, guaranteed.
Yeah, but I think people, don't get me wrong, as excited I am for this, I think a lot of people, when it comes to Wolverine, just want action.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that means with this low budget, if it means we're really not going to get it.
Be honest, I think people like me and you that are comic fans and respect that not all comic panels are action. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a rich story, we'll enjoy it. Maybe some people will get pissed off like they did at Batman v Superman. Like, this movie's got too much emotion in it, alright? Just punch somebody in the face. So,
yeah.
Me personally, I still think it's going to do well. It's Wolverine. You know what I mean?
I do think it's going to do well because I don't think not everyone's going to see the trailers, or the trailers show enough action to maybe fool the people who aren't sure. However, I don't know if based on the first screening, if people then are going to recommend the movie, and then if we're going to get a return on it. You know what I mean? Because theaters really bank on people who go to see it more than once too.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if this movie's going to have it, given what.
Yeah, and it all depends on how you feel by the end of it.
It's true.
One point I wanted to point out in the trailer I really liked was the when you see X-23 come out and she starts putting out the claws, and the villain's like, no.
He treats her like a dog.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Bad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But I'm really excited about this film. Really excited. So, where does this film end? They say this is Wolverine's, or Hugh Jackman's last film. Do I believe that? No.
Do you think it's going to be like a Daniel Craig situation? Because Daniel Craig was supposed to be done with 007. Sony offered him, I believe it was $150 million to do more, and he took it. So now he's still going to be our James Bond.
Yeah.
Do you think Fox is going to realize we can't do this without Hugh Jackman?
I don't know if he'll do another Wolverine movie or another X-Men movie, and just in my opinion, this is my opinion, there's no way Fox will get him out of doing an appearance in a Deadpool movie. I'm shocked that he wasn't in Deadpool.
Me too.
So he's got to be into, or at least a cameo or something. There's no way they won't do that, because it's just such an important part of the comic. And it was just weird not to have him in
You know what slightly upset me about Hugh Jackman's entire run as Wolverine? They never gave him a full suit. Like the mask and everything.
The closest we got was that deleted scene in the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I always just wanted it.
Like, there's no, unless you do a flashback in Logan, which would be pretty badass.
That would be really cool,
yeah.
If that's how they do it.
Perhaps to show how it went down, you can see a flashback and they're all in their,
Suits.
Suits. Oh. Because who knows, with him changing the timeline like he did in Days of Future Past, who knows what the X-Men comics or suits look like then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So he very well could have changed the timeline so much that, they all got brighter suits and better colors and closer to the original. So,
Now, do you want the original or the yellow and blue? Because I want the brown and orange.
I'd go either way. Brown and orange would be good. Yellow and blue. It's probably his most iconic, is yellow and blue.
Yeah, I feel like more people know that one too, but
Yeah.
I like the brown and orange personally.
Be honest, in the end of Apocalypse, when it looked like the opening to the 1990s X-Men TV series,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That kind of gave me a little, like, awesome, that's great.
That was sick.
So, hopefully...
Now, I don't know if you heard, but I heard that now Deadpool, since he counts as an X-Men, also counts as Fox renewing their license. So you know how Disney owns the Marvel Universe to not renew their license. Do you think, and Deadpool now apparently counts as Fox releasing an X-Men movie. Do you think after this run of X-Men, they just kind of drop it and move on with just Deadpool?
Could be, yeah. I see Fox doing a reboot first of the X-Men before they do anything. So,
You really think they're going to try again?
what, with the X-Men?
Another reboot? Or you think I would just build off of what Deadpool has?
I mean, I could agree with that. I don't feel like it doesn't need to be rebooted. I don't hate the X-Men movies like people do. I don't think they've gone stale. I still enjoy watching them.
I agree.
But yeah, that's what companies like to do, is reboot all the time. They feel like, let's be honest, reviews weren't that great for X-Men Apocalypse, even though I enjoyed it, and so that's what companies
Do you think maybe that's another reason we haven't really seen any X-Men in Deadpool that are iconic? Like, we've seen Colossus, but he's clearly a different looking Colossus than what we are used to.
Yeah.
So do you think
the point where the actor refused to come back for it because they weren't even going to have him outside of the metal look the entire time?
Yeah. Now, do you think that might be because they're waiting for this run of X-Men to end, and that's what they're going to just base their X-Men off of?
Could be.
What's going there?
Yeah, because he definitely looked more comic accurate than we've seen before. Colossus.
Oh, 100%. I actually really like the look.
I did too.
But, I agree.
I also enjoyed, was it Negatonic's Teenage Warhead or whatever?
She was actually really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was...
Yeah.
It was a fun little nod. I've been reading up on Deadpool too, though, and they say even with a bigger budget, though, they don't want to go X-Men happy, so they're going to keep it down to just Colossus and probably Negatonic again for the sequel.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
to go from something we're excited about, we're actually going to bring it to something we're also excited about, but some bad news about that excitement. The Nintendo Switch.
Comes out March 3rd.
Comes out March 3rd.
Reserve your copy.
We already talked about all that.
It's going to be good.
But
Breath of the Wild.
Developer, one of the lead developers of Respawn, was recently asked if they had any plans to bring Titanfall 2 over.
Titanfall 2?
Yes. We both played that game. We both really liked it.
I did.
And here was his response to that. Quote, "No. Fuck no. No, you're not going to be able to fit Titanfall on it. It's the same Zelda from the Wii U," and he laughs. So how do you plan on taking that? I mean, he then goes further and says, "I was excited about it because Nintendo's been in such a niche market recently, like, catering to the handheld market, and I'm going to be honest with you, the kids. They've been so underpowered that they don't have the support of third parties because they're all making games for PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and the Switch is no different." Do you think this is bad? Not just for obviously Nintendo not getting the Switch, but if you can't fit Titanfall on there and developers are refusing to put something like Titanfall on, probably not going to get Mass Effect, probably not going to get Red Dead 2.
He's a dick. No, I mean, I can understand. I just don't like the way he worded it.
I agree. It was a bit of a dick move the way he did it.
I'm glad Titanfall 2 didn't sell now. Hope it doesn't sell, buddy. All right. Hope all that hard work goes for nothing. To me, you're running your mouth before it's released.
It's true.
So, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, developers were all about, or third-party developers were all about the Wii because every house had a Wii.
This is true.
You know what I mean? So let's see.
But Nintendo's kind of shooting themselves in the foot by only releasing 2 million Switches at launch, which 2 million isn't even close to what Sony did in their first year of PS4s. Sony did almost 25 million its first year. And it's hard to. I can understand from a development point of view to go, why would I want to make a game for your console with only 2 million sales when I could make one that's at 54 million now? You know,
So-
it's hard.
It's, I don't know. I still feel like
I agree with his statement, and I understand his statement. I do not agree with the way that he said it. Because I do think Nintendo has a history of putting themselves in this. They put themselves in the spot where third parties don't want to work with them or can't work with them. How can we expect to get something like Mass Effect if, you know, it can't fit on the console? 32 gigs of internal memory. A dev is afraid that maybe I can't patch this game because not everyone's going to have the memory for my patch.
I feel like if Nintendo's gonna do this and lose their third-party support right from the door, then they need to start putting out first-party games way faster than they normally do.
I think.
And the games that people want. We just watched that video 2 seconds ago about how Sega approached Nintendo years ago for the GameCube about a action game with Sonic and Mario, you know, crossing over.
And Nintendo turned it down.
Yeah. And why? Because it would have sold? Because people would have enjoyed it? Like, you know.
Nintendo's just such a weird company to me, and I think they're really stuck in their ways, and they really refuse to kind of look into the future. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, when it comes to innovation, Nintendo is probably the king of it. Sure, you gave us motion controls before anyone else, but your console was underpowered, so we didn't get any of the good games that we probably could have really enjoyed with it on.
Yeah.
And now we're getting the first hybrid handheld home console system, which is really exciting.
It should be more exciting than this.
That's exactly my point. It should be super exciting, but all I've been hearing lately is, oh, well, it's not going to have this game, or, oh, the Skyrim port it's getting is not the PS4, Xbox One HD port, it's the PS3 360 port. So it's like, well, am I just going to be getting ports of old PS3 360 games?
Yeah, the same issue that happened with the
Wii U.
just the Wii in general. You kept getting what was it? You kept getting PS2 versions of, you know, other games. And the Wii U, yeah, you're saying you're getting re-release of old Xbox 360 games and PS3 games.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. The PS4 and Xbox One, they get their re-releases as well. But at least, one, they're getting a graphical overhaul. They're looking better. And two, I can still get trophies and stuff for those games. I was really disappointed that Nintendo also didn't give us some type of like trophy or achievement to work towards for these games. It really adds like replayability to games.
It definitely does. So, like you said, they're stuck in their ways.
Yeah, but this looks bad. I mean, unless Nintendo at E3 can really show us that, sure, they don't have the third party, but every month we're getting a new first party title. Because let's be honest, there were such large gaps on the Wii U.
That's what killed the Wii U, to be honest, was there was just nothing to play on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was the games that were great were re-releases or first party, you know. So I think the only third party game I honestly got on the Wii U was Call of Duty Ghost when it came out, and Batman Arkham City.
Yeah.
That was legitimately it.
And I mean, there were even games that were announced for the Wii U that never came out. And it makes me worried if that's going to be the same thing with the Switch.
Like what?
Metro Last Light. That was on the reel for the Wii U back when they showed the Wii U. Never came out. Where's that game? Nowhere. That's where it is. And I'm,
nowhere it is. Nowhere.
And that's what gets me worried about the Switch. Like, you know, sure we saw a lot of great games, but how many of those are even going to actually happen? What if third parties like, you know what, your console actually didn't sell well, so we're not going to bring it at all. EA has already said they're only bringing FIFA to the Switch until Nintendo proves that the Switch is going to sell. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, really?
Well, that's the words I got. Please do well.
Hopefully. We'll see what Nintendo does.
So, didn't you say you had, there was another person that said they weren't going to be developing?
Yeah. The developers of Borderlands 3
yeah.
they came out and said that their
You a
game...
Borderlands fan?
Borderlands is a weird series for me.
Okay, he's saying it's weird, everybody. Let's see where he's
I
going
do not
with
like playing Borderlands by myself,
this. Nobody does.
but I do enjoy playing it with friends.
That's what it's meant for.
Exactly. But I'm just, that's why I'll get it if my friends have it, but if not, I probably will not buy it.
Here's my issue with Borderlands. How a game like Destiny exists when something so much better like Borderlands exists at the same time. Why people choose to play Destiny. And anybody that plays Destiny, I'm sorry that you've wasted years of your time, because Borderlands is the superior game.
I can agree with that.
Oh, you have to.
I've heard Destiny got a lot better. I haven't played it.
No.
I heard the narrative got better. They've actually added.
Did Destiny have Handsome Jack?
It did not have Handsome.
Did they have Handsome Jack?
They did not have Handsome.
Then
Jack.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Handsome Jack is a
Handsome
great character.
Jack is that character. Was he a bad guy? Was he a good guy? Were you on his side? Were you not? We don't know. Like, wow.
It's true.
I played through the pre-sequel and 2 multiple times and still haven't really understood the whole Handsome Jack story.
And you play Tales from the Borderlands.
Oh, that was another great game. Another great game.
Actually,
Handsome Jack was in that too.
Yeah, probably my second favorite Telltales. But
yeah.
So that's another future title down the pipelines that's not going to be on the Switch.
But here's what's upsetting me. These developers are talking about they want to put this game on it or this game on it. Why not develop your own personal game for the Switch that is underdeveloped? You know what I mean? That will fit on a not as powerful system.
That's something that I think we will be seeing.
And that's something I enjoy because I'm going to take it back. Dead Space 1 and 2 and 3, well, 1 and 2 were really good. There was no way they were going to run on the Wii. So they gave us that rail shooter on the Wii.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that rail shooter, and it was a prequel story that you only got if you had a Nintendo Wii.
I agree, and I think that's something that Nintendo obviously has to get in talks with these developers about. No one's just going to port their games over, or they might not even want to put the resources into a full game that they might only sell 2 million units of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. So it gets tough. Look at Square Enix. Square Enix obviously is on board with the Switch, and they're coming out with games for it.
They make Final Fantasy.
They do make Final Fantasy.
Dragon Quest.
And Dragon Quest. Now, we've actually seen still images of Dragon Quest Heroes 2 on both the Switch and the PS4. And man, do I have to say, the graphical differences, it's pretty big in my opinion. To some people, not so much. So I'm actually going to add these into the video as well if you're on YouTube, so you'll be able to see these images. But this is it on the PS4.
Right.
A lot of particle effects, and that is it on the Switch.
That's ridiculous. I'm going to go back to the other one. I like that better.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you like it better? The particle effects are better, the lighting is better. It's just... why? What is Nintendo doing? And I mean, I think
Nintendo's never been about the graphic overalls and the look. It's always been about the gameplay.
I'm not going to agree with that. And here's the why. Super Nintendo was way better than the Genesis in graphics. The Super Nintendo was a powerhouse compared to the Genesis, which is why Sega then tried to play catch up and had small dick syndrome, coming out with all these add-ons for the Genesis.
Yeah, Sega CD.
Yeah, and the 32X. Jinx. Poke you and me, Coke. Anyway.
Fair enough.
And then you had the N64, where one of the things they really showed off, they even have a video on YouTube you can watch of a press conference where Nintendo was like, look at all these polygons we can fit. Look at everything we're doing. Because it was stronger than the PlayStation. But Nintendo's problem, once again, was they went with cartridges. And no one wanted to develop games on cartridges anymore because it was cheaper to put them on a disc. And then you look at the GameCube.
Oh,
which was the last, in my opinion, the last time Nintendo was like, let's make a conventional system. And just, really put everything we have into it. You made the GameCube, awesome system. Stronger than the PS2, not as powerful as the original Xbox.
Had Resident Evil on it, though. The remake.
Had Resident Evil 4, and had the remake, had Zero.
But you,
once again, used your own proprietary discs, the mini DVDs, instead of just using a DVD. So then developers were like, I don't want to put my game on this because I have to put it on multiple discs to just fit this one game, whereas on a PS2 and Xbox, it's one disc.
Yeah.
And then the Wii came out, which Nintendo was like, you know what? We're not going to aim for the hardcore. We're going to get the casual. We want everyone to be able to play, not just gamers. And it worked. The Wii sold like crazy. But what did you get on the Wii? Shitty games.
Yeah, unless it was first party, there was nothing, man.
Yeah, it was all shit.
And on top of that, you know what the Wii reminded me of? The crash of video games from back in the day, where anybody was making crap and throwing it on there.
And then
there was legitimately just games that you could tell were three guys in a garage on a Wednesday.
E.T.
That put this out because they were awful.
Yeah,
and that was the big issue. And what hurt the Wii was all these old casual gamers and these old grandparents and everything were buying these third-party games because they didn't understand this is crap, this is quality.
Yeah, and there are people that still come in to the store and they buy these really shitty Wii games because they just see the cheap price, and it's like there's a reason it's less than $1.
Yeah.
It's not because it was good, I promise you. There's a reason why that's only $1 and the Mario games and all are still $30 on Wii.
Because Mario's the truth. Even though I can see what you're saying, Nintendo focused on graphics at one point, yeah, but they're still. Even then, they were about their gameplay, man. It was.
I agree. And Nintendo's gameplay.
Their controller always had more buttons than the Sega at the time. That was one of their big points, and it was their gameplay, the things you could do in that. But I also remember that. I remember one of the original trailers for Mortal Kombat, the Super Nintendo version versus the Genesis. One thing Nintendo mentioned they could do was Shang Tsung turned his head in the Super Nintendo version versus the Genesis. But
the Genesis version was only better because it
had blood. Yep,
yeah,
that makes a difference.
Nintendo was not willing to do it.
But at the end of the day, I feel like Nintendo is not so worried about.
Nintendo is the king of gameplay. I will give them that. They make sure their games are great. However, if people aren't going to buy it, what does it matter?
I agree.
And don't get me wrong, Nintendo's going to have a hard time coming, even if it does well, because you're going to then have people who are going to come in and be like, all right, well, what games are coming? Oh, nothing? Why did I buy this? Or the people that didn't buy it yet, they're going to ask, what console should I get? And it's going to be hard to explain why you should get a Switch over a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Yeah, it's a rarity now that people are owning more than one system.
Yeah, and
I mean, statistically, they still own two, but it's going to be that, should I get a PS4 and an Xbox One, or because at the end of the day, I doubt any hardcore gamers are going to own just a Switch.
I agree.
There's no way. So they need that market of getting either a PS4 and a Switch or an Xbox One and a Switch. They need those people.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. If you own an Xbox
but even
One,
me, who I'm getting a Switch, I'm even concerned about it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't want it to be a Wii U again, where I'm running out. I don't have nothing to play for 6 months, and I'm sitting there, not even thinking about it. Because Nintendo, they need you to think about it to succeed. They need me to talk about the Switch so that people want it.
Yeah.
And right now, the talks are kind of doing the opposite to people.
I mean, it's still early, and
it's true.
Time will always tell. Because at the end of the day, a lot of companies had made a lot of big mistakes when they were releasing their system at first. And Microsoft.
And they managed to
Sony with the PlayStation 3.
Whew,
I was employed at GameStop when the PlayStation 3 dropped, and I remember it, man. We couldn't hold on to a Wii for more than 5 seconds. But man, did we have stacks of PS3s that we couldn't sell. I mean, and the 60 gigs went decently, but was it the 40 gigs, I think, the valid ones?
Yeah.
They sat. I think we ended up sending them back. Nobody took one of them.
Yeah. I mean, well, Sony even said back in that conference, they were like, oh, our console's going to be so good, and it was $600, and people were like, how do you expect people to like get this? Their response was, we expect you to get a second job. It's like, what? That is not what you say to your fan base.
Yeah. It was ridiculous, $600. And I remember them sitting there, and eventually the PS3 played catch up. You know what I mean?
It actually sold more than the Xbox 360
Yeah.
by the end of its life cycle.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that was because Sony went the long haul for it. At the end of the day, it started getting much better exclusives.
Yeah.
It ended up being, and it was the more powerful system at the time.
Agreed. They just messed up by using that cell processing which really kind of ruined getting third party.
That's why everything was ported over.
Yeah.
Worked on the 360, ported over. So, because I remember what drove me crazy was Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, and it ran so much better on the 360, even though the PS3 was a more powerful system.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable to me. But
so 2 games come out pretty close to one another, pretty similar to one another, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear a lot of talks and comparisons to one another. That is Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Didn't even think of that.
Wow, yeah.
They are really close. 1 week apart.
One's in February still.
One's February 28th, March 3rd.
Oh, that sucks.
Literally
Wow.
a week apart. Now, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, do you think people are going to compare? Do you think these comparisons might hurt either game, or do you think it?
I can't now because I'm gonna get both though. But.
I'm going to get both as well. I feel like Zelda's going to be more of my comfort food. I know what I expect from Zelda. Granted, this one's going to be very different from what we're used to.
See, even though I feel like you can never know what you're going to expect from Zelda, because every time I'm like, I've played Zelda before, I know how.
Well, I know
game
Ganon's
works.
in it again.
I understand how this game works. They kind of turn it on their head because, yeah, at the end of the day, Majora's Mask played really similar to Ocarina of Time, but it was still a completely different game.
I can agree.
You know what I mean?
My favorite Zelda.
Wind Waker was, amazing, and then Four Swords followed it up. Yeah, it looked like Toon Link still, but it was a completely different game. So I feel like we kind of know what we're expecting, and I feel like we're going to get a completely different game on this end. So who knows what this Zelda is going to be like. All I know is it's most likely to be amazing.
Now, do you think if Zelda gets a 10 and Horizon doesn't, do you think that means Sony might miss out on an exclusive there? Do you think, like, I want Horizon to succeed because I really want that to turn into one of Sony's new IPs that they keep bringing something out with. I haven't even played it yet, but I'm so already interested in what they're doing, and I really want to see more. I'm like super excited for it, and I'm a little worried though at the same time that like both are obviously open world long games, 1 week after the other. It's kind of like
So I feel like a lot of people like now that you mentioned, I feel like I'll hold up on picking up Horizon Zero. Because I'm getting the Switch and because I'm getting Zelda. Because I know that's going to take over for a while, and at the end of the day, Zelda trumps all.
I mean, granted,
Trumps all.
Zelda has never been a system seller.
Mm-hmm.
It has never. It's done well, obviously enough to get sequels, but it's not Mario.
No.
And
which is weird that the last 2 systems they brought out, Zelda was
the title, yeah. It's a little weird to me too, because the best-selling Zelda of all time was Twilight Princess, which to me is actually surprising. But
why is that?
I actually don't consider Twilight Princess to be that great. I think it had the best dungeons, but I think the game itself is just too dragging.
Man, you sound like such a hipster.
So.
I'm not a fan of chocolate cake. I think it's delicious and it's moist and it's good. I don't like the fact that, it's chocolate and cake.
I just think Wind Waker was obviously the better game. Surprising to me that Wind Waker didn't do better. And I think...
Well, people are stupid.
And I think Majora's Mask was a better game.
Yeah, that's where I just don't agree with that, man. I know you and your heart on for Majora's Mask, but...
yeah, I love it, but...
Twilight Princess is probably like my 3rd favorite Zelda of all time, man.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not up there for me.
Wind Waker, Link Between Two Worlds, and Twilight Princess. And I really like Twilight Princess. Matter of fact, take the stupid wolves out of that game, probably my favorite Zelda of all time.
Yeah, I didn't like the wolf sections either.
I don't think anybody did. I don't know what they were thinking. That was one time Nintendo didn't know what I wanted.
They were trying to bank on Twilight.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. No, it was in the name. I was annoyed with that. Because it kind of ruined the flow of the game. You'd be playing, you do a dungeon, you're getting real hyped, you're going through the fields on your horse, and then...
I agree. I never had fun playing as the wolf whenever I had to become
And
him.
it's like you're just rushing to get back to playing as Link again. So, rushing. But, I don't know. I didn't even realize they were close to together.
They're super close.
Any other games ever get released like that? That's just too super... Oh, you know what? Infamous and Prototype. No, is it Prototype?
Yes.
Yes.
They were released very close to one another. Infamous was just, in my opinion, the more superior game.
Yes, I agree. And it definitely crushed it in sales.
Yeah. But I don't know what's going to happen here. Now, I do think that Horizon's going to do better sales wise than Zelda to start, and here's why: because you're only releasing 2 million of your console. The numbers aren't there for it to not do better.
I wonder why Nintendo. It's this whole idea Nintendo has of scaring people into rushing out and getting it kind of thing.
I think they're actually more afraid of having another Wii U issue, where the Wii U didn't sell and they just sat on massive amounts of stock.
So, well, let's be honest.
And product.
I'm the Nintendo fanboy that there is, and if you look at my edition of the Wii U I waited 6 months.
Yeah. A part of me sometimes, I was like, do I want to... If Zelda wasn't a launch title, I was going to wait until Zelda to get the Wii U. But then... The Switch. I'm sorry. You're right.
Stuff. Yeah. So, I'm wondering if I'm going to regret it in 6 months they release another edition of the Switch. That was super awesome. Because I'm glad I waited my 6 months for the Wii U. I love my edition, the Zelda edition.
You can always buy stickers.
Disgusting. Nasty. What else you got?
That's really it I had for news. Well, last week's Scalebound was canceled. You don't know anything about it because you don't have an Xbox
We were
One.
supposed to watch a trailer and I didn't. We ate donuts instead.
Yeah. It was actually a really cool looking game. It was open world RPG where you had a pet dragon and it was up to 4 players co-op.
Mm-hmm.
It looked really awesome, and it was going to be made by Platinum.
So tired of open world.
Yeah. I'm pretty tired of them too, but I was really for this. This looked pretty cool. And I think it was more open world because you just had this massive dragon that you can fly on and do stuff with.
Like Pan's Dragon for sake of setting.
Yeah, so you kind of need the space to do that. But I was super excited for it, and I was actually really, even though I didn't have an Xbox One, I was kind of disappointed that it was canceled because I was just going to pick it up for PC. I don't know why. Like, they haven't said why it was canceled, but it's actually not looking good for Microsoft. I think they only have Crackdown 2 coming out this year, which we haven't seen anything.
Crackdown 3.
Crackdown 3, thank you. Sorry.
I'm just all fixing you today.
Yeah, I know. I'm like all over the place. It's those donuts slugged me down back in the year 2008.
Why this long for a Crackdown sequel, man? Sheesh.
I don't know if they actually ever planned on doing another one. And
Crackdown was a launch title for
the original, yes.
And if anybody remembers, remember why it sold. Because Crackdown sold ridiculously well.
Only because you got the Halo 3 demo.
Correct.
Yes.
Only reason.
I remember. And then when they came out with Crackdown 2 wasn't as good.
No.
Did not sell as well.
Absolutely not.
Which is why I think Microsoft didn't really probably plan on making a Crackdown 3, but I think they saw fans wanted it. And what I've noticed with fans, though, is they say they want something, but then when it's coming out, they don't want to give the money up instantly to get it. They wait for it to go on sale. Which then gives these developers the opposite message of what you were telling them in the beginning.
Yep.
But we had Crackdown 3 that was supposed to come out. Supposed to come out this year. We haven't really seen anything on it. Maybe they're waiting until
E3.
E3. I actually think what they're going to do is release Crackdown 3 and the Scorpio at the same time.
Okay.
The new Xbox.
So explain these. I know they're 4K systems, but is that all you're getting?
Well, the Scorpio apparently is supposed to be Microsoft's console that is upgradable yourself. You will probably never buy another Xbox. You will buy parts for this Xbox. It's almost like owning a PC now. Ooh. Is what it's sounding like. We don't know 100% yet. They only kind of showed a concept last year at E3. A lot of people were excited. But, we have to see what happens. I think what they're going to do is just call it Xbox. And from here, they say all Xbox One games are going to work on the Scorpio, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just call it Xbox, make games solely for the Xbox that also work on the One, but your One games will also work on the Xbox. And I think they're just going to go off of that.
And the PS4?
I do think we're going to see another PlayStation. I think we'll see a PlayStation 5. If not, I think Sony might do the same thing. Make a PlayStation that's upgradable and just have it be called PlayStation.
Yes.
I do think the consoles are getting to a point, though, where coming out with one every 4 to 5 years is probably...
It's been because the PlayStation 3 was...
PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were 8 years. But up to that point, every console generation was 4 to 5 years. So that was the first one that lasted longer, which is why people are expecting this one to last about 8 years as well.
Give me a 10. That'd be nice. Take a nice little
That would be
deep
nice.
breath of relief and relax.
But I wouldn't mind if they came out with a console and they were just like, you know what? Here this is, and every couple of years we'll release maybe an upgraded graphics card for it if you want it.
Yeah.
Or maybe this upgraded processor if you really want it. And I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't mind.
While we're on the subject, best failed console in your opinion?
Dreamcast.
Ooh, that was quick.
Dreamcast. I think the Dreamcast was ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah.
First console to do online.
Yeah, before people knew what the internet was.
Yeah. And I think that's where they kind of messed up. They were doing things before anyone even thought that it was going to be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, to think about it now, to mention to people at the time, like an online system, the first online system
They would have thought you were a witch.
didn't do well. It's like, if you told that to a kid now, be like, what? Online systems, where it's at?
I can't think of a system that can't do online.
It is unbelievable. Dreamcast was good. Let's say the Virtual Boy. Just kidding. Nobody wanted that Virtual Boy, or as I call it, Vomit Inducer. I'm gonna go with a Sega System too, but I'm gonna go with another one. Sega Saturn.
Ooh, the Saturn.
I loved my Sega Saturn. More importantly, I loved my exclusives on the Sega Saturn. Bugs. I love those games. Clockworks. Fun games. It was just a fun, solid system, man. I have so many good memories with my Sega Saturn. Knights. Do you remember Knights?
I do not.
Such a great
I
game.
actually didn't have a Saturn.
Made that mistake. Well, no, I made the mistake.
I got a Dreamcast because I thought the Dreamcast was really cool. It had Crazy Taxi. I played over a friend's house, and then the Dreamcast went nowhere.
Yep.
And I was really upset.
The Sega Saturn was coming out, and the PlayStation was coming out, and at the time I was like, Sony knew in a position. I'll stick with what I know. So I got the Saturn.
Oops, you got the wrong one.
Yeah, which I regret because the Saturn got all these great launch titles, Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, but then slowly it stopped and Sony kept getting all their sequels. Resident Evil 2 didn't come out for the Saturn. So all my friends were playing Resident Evil 2. I was playing Bugs and Knights. Dreamcast came out. Super excited for it.
You know what I was really happy about with the Dreamcast? I could play games on my memory card.
Yes.
I used to bring it to school with me and play on my desk.
You nerd.
I know.
Best game for the Dreamcast.
Holy crap. I was a kid when that came out, so either Sonic Adventures,
Hands down, yeah, that was an amazing game.
Crazy Taxi,
That was pretty decent.
or I would probably say Shenmue.
No Blue Stinger, huh?
I actually never played Blue Stingers.
Oh man, I've been wanting a remake on this game so bad. I loved Blue Stinger.
Huh.
I thought that was a great, solid game. I use that phrase "solid game" a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, no,
it's
no,
okay. It's
yeah,
good.
I mean, it's my catchphrase. We made T-shirts. Solid game, man. Or I agree with you. Those are my two. You know what I mean? That's right.
So what about you? What are your
What?
best Dreamcast games?
Well, give me best Dreamcast games. I said Blue Stinger. I really liked. Let's see what else was really good. Jedi Academy was really good on the Dreamcast.
I had that for PC. Yeah, Jedi Academy. Because then they had Jedi Outcast. That was was that the sequel or was that the one before it?
That was a sequel.
Okay, yeah.
And then there was Jedi Academy 2.
I played Jedi.
Which was a sequel to Outcast and Academy.
Because I played Outcast. I believe that went to the original Xbox as well.
Yes, and PC.
Yeah, because I remember I played Academy on the PC.
Play as Kyle something. I forgot his name.
Yeah, and then I played Outcast. Never played Academy 2. And then I went to KOTOR. KOTOR 2.
Academy 2 is probably my favorite Star Wars game of all time. Besides Knights of the Old Republic.
Really?
Yes, super good.
Huh. Maybe I'll see if I could track it down.
Oh yeah, it's really. I still have it. I think from my original Xbox.
Nice.
Yeah. But besides that, yeah, those are probably my two favorite. I really liked on it. I love the Resident Evil. You know what? I liked a lot of the renditions of it. I like the Resident Evil 2 on the Dreamcast. It just looked so much better. Soul Blade on it. I thought
Never played Soul Blade.
Super good. So I still have my Dreamcast.
So it's getting about that time. Before we wrap this week up, maybe we can.
Now you're making the rules here. I don't get to talk. That's it. You decide when we're ending the video.
I was actually going to keep going with something else.
All right, go ahead.
I don't know. Now maybe I don't want to.
Well, now I got to say something. I was listening to the podcast that we did last week, and I happened to notice that I mentioned in a game you had to do this, and then I motioned with my hands. There's no video, so I apologize to people that I did that because you couldn't see what my face was nor my hand gestures. So I was talking about No More Heroes, and I said you had to do this with the controller.
Yes.
Then I listened to it again, and I said I'm an idiot. My gesturing was that of masturbation. So just want to clear that up for everyone.
Well, thanks.
Choking the chicken.
So,
Waxing the dog.
what do you? Next week we have a lot of stuff coming out. What are you excited for?
Oh, next week?
What are you going to be putting all them hours into?
Resident Evil 7, hands down.
Same. I'm going to be playing a lot of Resident Evil 7. I actually am picking up Yakuza and Kingdom Hearts as well.
Not excited about Kingdom Hearts.
I love Kingdom Hearts.
I really like Kingdom Hearts, but all these chains 2.57, I'm confused. I don't even know what game this is. Because if not, I would get it.
So 2.8 is Dream Drop Distance, which was the 3DS game.
Okay.
HD remake. And then they also had the Birth by Sleep 2.5, I believe is what it's called. And that is what happens to Aqua after Birth by Sleep. That was for the PSP. Did you ever play Birth by Sleep?
No.
Okay.
I
Birth by
played
Sleep
Kingdom
is
Hearts,
in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts 2, and the one for Game Boy Advance. That was super
Chain of
good.
Memories.
Yes. It was a card-based game.
Yep, Chain of Memories.
And it was still pretty freaking good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That one's actually on 1.5 HD, which they're bringing 1.5 and 2.5 to the PS4 as well in March. So 1.5 will give you Kingdom Hearts 1.1 Final Mix, which is the Japanese version, so you get a couple extra boss battles and stuff like that. You also get Chain of Memories, Re-Chain of Memories, sorry, that's the one that went to the PS2, which is Chain of Memories, but it has the regular Kingdom Hearts look to it. And then you also get 368 and a half days, but that's only a video. You can only watch all the cutscenes for that. It's not going to be gameplay. And that was on the DS. Then, 2.5, you get Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. You get Birth by Sleep, and you get the Kingdom Hearts Recoded. The Recoded is the video. Now for 2.8, you get Dream Drop Distance. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, I believe, is called 0.5. And then you get this other video that is supposed to explain the whole Keyblade Wars and what's going on in the past, what went on in the past.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So
there's so much percentages going on there. I have no idea what's going on.
It is the entire storyline.
So they're gonna give part 1's coming out on PS4.
Yes.
Let me know when that happens. All right. That's right. And then when I'm done that, I'm gonna have to have you come with me so you can tell me which one's part 2. Okay? Because damn.
Okay.
Why? I just want to play a sword, man. That's it.
Yeah, but part 2 you had to play as Roxas.
Yeah, for like 10 seconds.
Well, it's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's whatever. You get past that, you're back to sword. You know what I mean?
Roxas is pretty cool.
Part 2 had that amazing Tron level too, man.
Oh, it did have a really cool Tron level. And you had the really cool outfit with it.
Yeah. That's, you know what? I swear, if people look at me like I'm crazy, that's why we got the Tron sequel. All right? Because of Kingdom Hearts, man. They brought that lore back from Tron. That and Tron got
I actually also like the Steamboat Willie level.
Oh, it was pretty good, yeah.
That was a really good one, seeing Sora.
I'm not Steamboat Willie. Do you remember Epic Mickey?
I do. It was actually a good game.
Yeah, I really wish they would port that to something that's not motion controlled.
Didn't they bring the first? No, they did not. You're right.
Yeah.
The first one.
Epic Mickey 2 is on the Wii U, and you don't have to use motion controls.
It's also on the Xbox 360.
Is it really?
Yes, you can get Epic Mickey 2 for the Xbox 360.
Well, I liked it on the Switch. I thought it was still pretty good.
Wii U.
I liked it on the Wii U. I did Wii U. I thought it was pretty good on Wii U, but still not as fun as the first one. I really liked the first one. I really liked the story of the first one.
I agree. I really liked the first one too. I actually didn't play much of the second one because it just didn't feel the same to me for some reason. So I just dropped it.
Well, one was darker in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But weird if you're like 90% agreed.
Yeah. I guess that would be weird if I was like, I should do that one episode. Just be like,
I'm
about an 80% agreement with you.
90% agree with you. Yes.
But Resident Evil 7 is looking like that's probably going to be the one I put the most time into.
I am really excited.
Unless I get too scared, then I'm probably it's going to be the one that I want to put the most time into, but really only play for like 30 minutes.
I'm going to realistically try to finish it before our next week's podcast so I can talk about it.
Whoo!
So, and it's going to be tough because I put a lot of hours into work.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
That might have to be like a Friday night cleanup thing, where like you chip at it throughout the week. Friday night, because you don't work Saturday, just knock it out.
Yeah.
Stay up and.
That's what I did with Titanfall. Like, few minutes here and there, and then I just busted my ass all day one day.
Now, is this a game you're going to play in front of your kids, or you think you're only
Resident Evil? No, man, I'm a good parent.
I'm just asking.
No.
So because that even cuts down the time even more.
Yeah, the kids are in bed early enough. I'm gonna share a story. This is really sad. I was playing the Walking Dead Telltales game.
Okay.
Which I recommend if you've never played it. It's such a really good game.
It is. Which one are you talking about? The first or
first one? Both of them were good.
They both were good. I didn't play the Michonne one.
I didn't play the Michonne one either.
Okay.
But
I did really enjoy the
first. Spoiler alert, there's a scene in the school where there's zombies coming in and a girl is trying to hold the door and somebody tries to bust out, and because of that she gets grabbed and her throat gets just torn out. And of course, all the time I was playing this and nothing was going on, my son was nowhere to be found. The minute the throat gets torn out, I hear a scream and he's sitting right next to me staring. And I instantly felt guilty because he just looked mortified. Like, what was I doing to him? I was like, don't look, but it was too late. He's been scarred.
He's seen it.
Yeah, so I try not to play games like that in front of kids.
Yeah, it's one doodle that can't be undid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it too. I guess we'll find out what we think next week of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys tune in for next week's episode where we talk about some Resident Evil 7, as well as maybe some other games, because like I said, I am also getting Yakuza and Kingdom Hearts, so if I get a little into those, I'll talk about that as well.
I'm just picking up Resident Evil 7. But let's be honest, we'll probably talk about the Switch, so there it is.
Yeah, more Switch news will probably happen.
Switch news.
But, yeah, that'll do it for episode 8. Be sure if you liked this episode, hit that like button. If you didn't, dislike it. Please subscribe and leave a comment down below. You can get to us on Facebook, Twitter. You can hear us on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And, just reach out. Let us know what you think. Maybe you have some questions. Maybe you want to know what we do on our free time.
Let us know if you're getting Resident Evil 7 and how scared you are going to be.
Oh, and also let me know if you played in VR. I want to hear someone plays that from start to finish in VR. None of that. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Don't say you started it and then you're like, oh, I finished it in VR, when really you did most of it in the middle, and then once you got to the final boss, put that VR headset on.
Yeah, to be honest. And I don't even want you to take a break. No pause. Oof. No getting up, anything like that.
You get one thing. You may have a porta potty
That's it.
to sit in at all times.
That's all you get.
But, yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Will Zabo.
This is Justin Nazario.
And we are done.